"Captain, incoming distress signal, urgent priority." The voice cracked over the comms as alarms screamed through the control deck of the Vanguard. Captain Aria Voss snapped her attention to the trembling officer. "Put it through now." The screen blinked to life, grainy and flickering. A colony officer appeared, blood on his face, panic in his eyes. "They're here at SSD, not Xarthan's assist asterisk worse assist they." The transmission cut to static. A chilling silence filled the bridge. The outpost, Colony Theta 7, was gone. Just like that, Aria's fists tightened. Theta 7 wasn't just a colony, it was the last line before cruel space, the deadliest region known to mankind. Location of the signal? She demanded, deep. "Edge of cruel space, Captain. No known fleets in the area. No survivors." Aria's gut twisted. No one returned from cruel space, but something made it out, just long enough to scream for help. "Prepare the fleet," Aria ordered. "Fire in her." Voice, "We go now." Her crew hesitated. Entering cruel space was a death sentence, but Aria didn't blink. Whatever wiped out Theta 7 wasn't waiting. And neither was she. The fight for survival had already begun. "Stand down, Captain Voss. That's a direct order." The High Command's voice thundered through the bridge speakers. Aria Voss cut the transmission mid-sentence. She didn't have time for desk-bound cowards. Around her, the Vanguard's crew scrambled, fueling ships, arming weapons, setting emergency warp routes. Fear filled the air, but they moved because they trusted Aria more than anyone sitting safely on Earth. "They'll court-martial you," Lieutenant Cade warned, his voice low, Aria's jaw clenched. "They can try if there's a fleet left to do it." The High Command wanted to delay, to debate. But Aria had seen the terror in the colony officer's eyes. Something worse than the Xarthans had come out of cruel space. Something fast. Something brutal. A fleet of 6 ships, barely enough for recon, formed behind her. Ready for launch. "Captain." Her orders were clear now. "Defy command. Save what's left. Find what's coming. Punch it," she said. The ships roared into warp, streaking past dying stars toward the edge of known space. Aria stared into the void, heart racing. She had no backup, no permission, no second chance. But if humanity's survival depended on breaking the rules, she was ready to shatter them all. The fleet dropped out of warp into dead silence. No stars, no signals, just cold blackness. "Captain," Cade whispered, scanning the dark. "There's nothing here. It's like space itself. Disappeared." Aria's eyes narrowed. "Run a deep sweep. Something's out there." The sensors pinned faint echoes, distant shapes. The crew leaned in, their screens flashing. Dozens of ships drifted ahead, torn apart, floating like bones. Aria's chest tightened. Human ships, Xarthan warships. Even ancient vessels no one could identify. All destroyed. The Vanguard's lights flickered. A low hum rattled the hull. "Ma'am, we're getting hit by an unknown energy field. Systems are starting to fail," the engineer reported, panic rising. "Shut it down. Full manual control. No digital systems." Aria barked. As the fleet powered down their I-cores, the shadows outside moved. "Captain, I think they're alive," Cade whispered, pointing at the drifting wrecks. Suddenly, a broken Xarthan cruiser sparked to life. Its weapons turned toward the Vanguard. "They're not ships anymore," Aria said, cold realization hitting her. "There's something else now." The wrecks lunged forward. "All ships prepare to engage." Laser fire exploded across the dark as the dead ships attacked. "They're not responding to damage," Cade shouted, gripping his console. "It's like they're being puppeted." Aria's fleet fired everything, railguns, plasma torpedoes, but the enemy didn't stop. Wrecked ships with gaping holes kept coming, moving with unnatural speed. "Fall back," Aria ordered. "Keep manual control. Don't let them hack us. One by one, her smaller ships were dragged into the swarm, crushed like tin cans. The Vanguard spun hard, dodging twisted metal and ripping. Claws. Suddenly, a signal cut through the chaos. A Xarthan war code. Human vessel, cease fire. Aria's eyes narrowed. Put it through. The broken face of a Xarthan warlord appeared on screen. His armor was scarred, his breathing labored. Human, you will die here unless you listen. The architects have awakened. We must join forces or both our species are finished. Aria's crew froze. The Xarthans were sworn enemies. But the battlefield told a darker story. The Xarthans had been running too. Captain. What do we do? Cade whispered. Aria clenched her fists. Tell him to send coordinates. And tell him if he betrays me, I'll tear his ship apart with my bare hands. The uneasy alliance had begun. The Vanguard docked beside the battered Xarthan warship under a shaky ceasefire. Aria stepped onto the enemy deck, flanked by armed guards, her hand resting on her sidearm. The Xarthan warlord, General Korak, stood, tall despite his wounds. His black scales shimmered in the cold light. We should be killing each other, Aria said, staring him down. Korak's jaw tightened. The architects do not kill, they consume. Flesh, metal, memory, nothing remains. His words landed like stone in Aria's gut. He showed her footage. Fleets shredded in seconds. Machines turned against their masters, soldiers frozen in place. As the architects hijacked their minds, they control technology. They awaken the dead, Korak growled. They even bend Xarthan ships to their will. Aria's eyes burned. How do we stop them? We can't, Korak said, voice low, but we can slow them. Delay them. A risky plan formed. A joint strike into deeper, cruel space to destroy an architect command node. Her crew hated it. Her enemies didn't trust her. But hesitation meant extinction. Aria extended her hand to the warlord. For survival, she said. Korak gripped it tight. For war. The countdown to the mission began. The fleet plunged deeper into cruel space, a place where light seemed afraid to travel. Silence stretched, broken only by the hum of war machines. Suddenly, alarms blared. Captain, the architects are attacking. The biomechanical horrors erupted from the shadows. Monstrous creatures fused with metal, tentacles glowing with deadly energy. They tore through ships, ripping hulls like paper. Aria shouted orders. Focus fire on the tentacles. Protect the Vanguard. But the architects were relentless. They hijacked systems, turning human and Xarthan ships against each other. Cade. They're overriding our controls. Manual overrides aren't working, the engineer yelled. Aria's heart pounded. Her best friend, Lieutenant Jara, screamed as her ship was taken over mid-battle. No, Jara! Aria's voice broke. Jara's ship turned and fired on the fleet. Shoot to disable. We need to save her. Aria ordered. The battle raged like a storm. Ships exploding in waves of fire and metal. Amid the chaos, Aria realized this war wasn't just against the Xarthans or the architects. It was a fight for the soul of humanity itself. Amid the wreckage, Aria's cum crackled sharply. We're leaving, taking the intel. Sorry, humans. The Xarthans were pulling out. Betrayal. Aria's blood ran cold. Not on my watch, she ordered a boarding team. Lights flashed red as they sealed the airlocks and blasted through the chew. Warlord's ship. Inside, the ship was a nightmare, dark corridors, flickering lights, and whispered threats in an alien tongue. They found the stolen data core, but no sign of the Xarthan crew. Suddenly, a trap-sprung security bot surrounded them. Hold your ground. Aria barked, fighting their way out. The team barely escaped with the core. Back on the Vanguard, Aria decrypted the files. The truth hit hard. Humans had accidentally awakened the architects centuries ago. During Forbidden's exploration, the architects weren't invaders, they were consequences. Aria stared at the screen, mind racing. The only hope was to close the gateway they had opened. "Prepare the fleet," she said grimly. "We're going deeper into cruel space. No turning back." The fleet pushed further into cruel space, the gateway to the unknown growing ever closer. "Captain, the gateway is ahead," Cade reported, tension thick in his voice. Aria stared at the shimmering mass of twisted energy, a dark pulsing rift that seemed to swallow light itself. "We have to overload it," she said. "Destroy this portal before more architects come through." The plan was dangerous. Send a small strike team to plant explosives inside the gateway's core. Too risky. Her officers protested. "We could lose the whole fleet." Aria's eyes burned. "We have no choice." The strike team launched, dodging debris and hostile attacks from lurking architect forces. Inside the gateway chamber, the air hummed with power. The team raced against time, planting charges amid groaning metal and alien machinery. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the chamber. The gateway began to collapse. "Get out. Now!" Aria yelled over the comms. Ships scrambled to escape as the rift imploded, ripping space apart behind them. The fleet emerged battered. Some ships lost, but the gateway was destroyed. No way home remained. Aria clenched her fists. The real fight was just beginning. "They're still coming," Cade shouted as alarms screamed across the Vanguard's bridge. Even with the gateway destroyed, the architects swarmed from hidden pockets of cruel space, faster and more desperate. They weren't retreating, "We're going to wipe the fleet here and now. We can't outrun them," Cade gasped. "We're not running," Aria growled. She activated fleet-wide comms. "All ships stand and fight. If we fall here, Earth is next." Her voice cut through, fear like fire. Even the Xarthan ships, on the edge of fleeing, turned to face the enemy. The final battle erupted, blistering laser fire, detonating ships, screams cutting through static. Aria's ship weaved through collapsing starfields, leading brutal attacks. Refusing to back down, one by one, her allies fell, but they bought precious seconds. Seconds that mattered. "Captain, we've created an opening," Cade shouted. "Send the survivors through now." Aria ordered, her ship locked in a death grip with a colossal architect vessel. "Captain, you need to go too," Cade pleaded. Aria shook her head. "Get them home, Cade. That's an order." The fleet broke free, but Aria stayed behind, firing, until the architect ship finally dragged her into the abyss. Her stand had bought them tomorrow. The battered fleet drifted into safe space. Scarred, silent, and smaller than when it left, Cade sat in the captain's chair of the Vanguard, his fists shaking. Aria was gone. She stayed behind so they could escape, so humanity could live. A message crackled through the comms, a recording left by Aria. Her voice was steady, fierce. "If you're hearing this, you made it. You survived. That's what matters now. The fight isn't over. It never was. But if we keep running, we've already lost. Never forget who we are. Never forget what we're fighting for. Humanity doesn't break. Not in cruel space. Not anywhere. I'll see you on the other side." Silence filled the bridge. Cade stood and faced the remaining ships. "We're not just survivors," he said, his voice hardening. "We're the first wave." The Xarthan ships flanked them, not as enemies now, but as uneasy allies. Cade's eyes burned with purpose. "We're going back. We're going to finish this. For Aria, for us all." The fleet turned toward the stars, no longer running, ready to face whatever waited in the dark. Humanity was out of cruel space, but the war was far from over.